Good evening here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. I'm Joel McCall, visiting now with Mitch Olson. He is the head coach of the Central Riverhawk football team. It is our fireside chat for the week. First of all, Coach, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Thanks, Joel. Great to be talking to you once again.
Huge win for the Riverhawks. They sit at 4-2 now, 4-0 in the conference, four straight victories, 54-33 win over Sparta. Scored on 7 of 8 drives. The lone non-scoring drive was actually a kneel down to end the first half, so not really a drive itself. And Rude had quite the ball game, throwing 280, or pardon me, running 286 yards, rushing 4 touchdowns, threw another one, went 4 for 5 throwing, and then that pick six by Service. I don't know if you could dial it up any better offensively, Coach, than what transpired at UWL on Friday.
Yeah, cleaned up some of the mistakes that we had been making in weeks weeks past. You know, really just executed in a lot higher clip up front on the offensive line. Then obviously Christian is such a talented kid, and obviously we have other talented kids too. But he's really special with the ball in his hands. And it's just another one of those performances from him that you know you never know when it's going to go to the house, and he's running somebody over and breaking tackles, running away from people. So yeah, offensively we played pretty well. I think it was definitely the most complete game that we've played offensively so far.
On the defensive side, you almost saw my interview notes because I wrote most complete game question mark. So say that on the offensive side, but what about the defensive side?
Yeah, there's a lot to clean up. It was disappointing with the way we were kind of playing in the first half. We need to tackle a lot better. We need to play more physical, more aggressive. I do think that we didn't necessarily make it the easiest on ourselves from a scheme standpoint at times for our players. And those are some things that we really just need to get cleaned up so that we can make sure we are in the best position to make some plays. And that's both in the pass game and in the run game. So we have to play a lot better on that side of the ball. And 2 weeks ago, I thought defensively we played pretty well against Logan. There were times when we sputtered a little bit offensively. And then you look at this week and we played really well offensively, and sputtered at times defensively. So we're still looking to put a complete game together. And we do things a little different on special teams, kind of because we have to,
Right.
but we need to play more sound there too. And we still have room to grow in all three phases of the game, and we just need to be consistent and make sure that we're working towards that every single day.
On this fireside chat that we have this interview every single week, a lot of times we are hitting on the guys that are making the big plays and whatnot. And I know that Nami's going to talk about that offensive line. I think he's got offensive lineman love week or whatever he wants to call it. That'll be coming up here soon. There's a guy. The
It's the
look on
best
your
dang
face.
week of the year. I love it. I love it. Everybody knows Christian Rude and Gabe Service and Connor Growth and Ruben Smith and all those guys. We got it. We got to get the unsung heroes, the big boys. They need their love, and they certainly earned it after this past week.
Well, he'll do that. I want to highlight a different guy, though. How about
Okay.
Wyatt Foley and his emergence that he has provided for this team? He had a big run at the very end of the game, for
Mhm.
another touchdown, but his offense has started to pick up a little bit here and there. He's touching the ball here and there. And then on defense, he's still making some great plays.
Yeah. Um, obviously, probably outside of maybe Christian carrying the ball, I think Wyatt Foley's our most physical kid, and he's always been like that. That's just who he is. Really a tough kid, and we saw that last year when he was just a sophomore. But he does so much for us defensively. He's capable of doing a lot of different things. He's a very very sound tackler. He lays the wood a little bit too. He pops some people, and then it was good for him to get involved offensively the way he did and break a couple big ones, because he is a good athlete and he does have that potential. And how we have used him a lot throughout the year. given he is one of our most physical kids, he is playing wing for us.
Right.
And, on 90% of the plays, he's making one of the most important blocks that we have in our run game. So I think it just speaks to, one, his unselfishness and being willing to sort of do those dirty jobs. And then two, just sort of the grit and toughness that he has. The kid can play through anything, and he's never going to back down from anything. We've said it before as coaches, like if we had 11 Wyatt Foley's, we would be really, really good. And he's not the biggest, most physically imposing player, but he's one of the toughest kids that you're going to find.
Yeah, I've really liked watching. I've tried to watch him a little bit more throughout the year too, to try and make sure that I'm highlighting him a little bit more too. So I'm glad that we're able to talk a little bit more about Wyatt Foley and what he has been able to do for this Riverhawk football team. You guys have Tomah this week, and I know that you sent me some information on them. Boy, they've got a lot of new players on both sides. It looks like too. They just lost. I was looking back at the score because I wasn't sure what it was. 42-13 to Holman last week. What do you see on film for Tomah? And maybe you could talk to me a little bit about Quinn Gerke at quarterback. I knew that name, and Adam Brisky on the other side. That's a good solid linebacker for them. He's got a lot of tackles.
Yeah, obviously, I think you probably remember both of those kids from basketball. Really talented multi-sport athletes. But then they have some other really talented individual players. Some kids that stick out. Bo Rui is a real good two-way player for them on both offense and defense. And then the Butterfuss kid does a really good job for him, and they're using him a little bit more on offense now too. And then obviously Brisky and Gerke both do a really good job because they are just really talented athletes. They're a team that's getting better week by week. Probably their most consistently productive player, a really good running back. Tim Buddy got hurt maybe week 2, week 3, week 4, somewhere in there towards the start of the season. So I think a little bit they're trying to find some footing without him because he was a really talented running back for him. He did a really nice job against us last year. I think a kid that probably has the potential to play at the next level. So when you lose, a player of that caliber, you kind of got to go through the learning curve a little bit again. I do think they're getting better week by week. And they do have some really talented athletes on that team. So we're going to have to play well. And they do throw the ball really well. The Cram kid is a big target.
There's a lot of
Gerke,
catches.
he has a lot of catches. Gerke does a good job getting him the ball, throws a really good ball. Jaden Johnson, the other kid that plays receiver, plays a little more slot for him. Really good athlete, really good in space. So, I know that we might see the record right now, but they do have a lot of talented individual players, and they're getting better week by week. So we got to make sure that we come ready to play.
So your secondary certainly has to be on their heels and ready to go coming up on a Friday when you guys take on Tomah. How about your keys then? I know you're going to hit on turnovers, and you just kind of hit on the secondary. How about your offense against their defense and your other keys?
Yeah, I think we need to continue executing at a high level on offense. Our run game is a little different, and it might change a little bit based on the looks that we get. We need to make sure that we communicate up there and go to the right person. Then it's really the second effort in the blocks down the field, that spring those 5 to 10 yard gains into longer gains. And that's something our receivers did a really good job of last week. Both Connor and Ruben played extremely well and helped us pop some big ones. And we need to take care of that. So if we can do that offensively, defensively, we just need to clean up some things. It starts with communication, getting all 11 people on the same page, and then playing within the scheme. Playing physical, playing discipline, and doing your job so that the whole defense can work together. After that, and most importantly, we have to take care of the ball offensively and turn them over defensively.
Got that last week with that pick six with Service, and maybe he can snag another one of Gerke's this coming week. He's thrown 4 on the year, but 7 touchdowns. So again, that ratio not too bad for Tomah. And as you said, they're a team that has been improving throughout the season. Well, Coach, how about your question before I get you out of here?
I got to fit one more thing in. I forgot last
Oh
week.
man,
Yeah. So we were, gosh, who did we play last week? Logan. Okay. I forgot to mention.
well,
Poor Lisa
you played
Colburn.
Sparta.
Lisa, no, 2 weeks ago, because I should have brought it up last week.
Okay.
Lisa Colburn was inducted into the Middleton High School Athletic Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Lisa Colburn. Sorry that we stole Kevin and he couldn't be there to cheer you on and support you, but know that all of the coaches very happy for your well-deserved honor. Also, happy anniversary to my wife tomorrow. Maybe the luckiest woman in the world. No, okay, just kidding. But yeah,
No
okay,
comment.
got those shout outs done with. I have a friend that really appreciates your interviews. He lives in Charlotte, out in the Carolinas now. Okay. And he's always intrigued by these questions, wanting to know where they come from. He wanted to pick a question this week. There's some backstory to it, so I won't get too much into it. But he was curious, your favorite like sort of like sidekicker or like a complimentary dish that gets served at a restaurant. So, at Olive Garden, you have the real good side salad or breadsticks. Fazoli's, you get the breadsticks. The muffins that they do or the bread at Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, you got anything like that? What's your favorite one of those?
Like what I make or what I need to
Cheddar
like?
biscuits from Red Lobster. Like if you're going, like, what's a real like? Hey, I can't wait to have some cheddar biscuits at Red Lobster.
That's a tough one. Well, I would say the bread at Cane's because that stuff is ridiculous. I don't know what they put in that bread at Raising Cane's, but that's like my kid's favorite thing now is just all they want is the bread. They don't even care about the chicken.
Isn't it like $15 for a combo meal there, if not more?
I don't know. They're not a sponsor, so I'm not gonna say how much everything is, but we've been out there a few times.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Probably I like a good garlic mash, but if I'm having that with like a good steak, that's probably what I want more than anything else. I'm not really a baked potato guy, so your mashed potatoes better be good if I'm getting a steak or like a good fry, and those better be homemade fries. Again, if I'm getting steak, um, something like that. I'd probably stick to a potato more than I would salads because coleslaw is hit and miss almost everywhere. I like my own potato salad, so I kind of stay away from other people's salads because I like the way I make stuff. But like you can't mess. I mean, you can mess up a mashed potato, but a good one, like a good garlic, that's probably my go-to.
Are there any no free shout outs here, or is there any place around the area that has a real good mashed potato?
We don't eat out a lot.
So you make a good mashed potato.
I tend to, yes, I try the best I can at a good mashed potato. I had made my first gravy like ever a couple weeks ago with a roast, and Dana approved. So that's pretty much all I need to
It
do.
wasn't the little tear gravy packet. You went.
I
Okay.
made it. I made it. So
Respect.
yeah, I was, but yeah, something like that. Normally, if I'm doing like smoked meat, I want my own coleslaw, so I'll make my coleslaw. And that's what I always kind of look forward to is having that pulled pork and coleslaw combo on a sandwich.
I like the coleslaw. Is it more of like a vinegar base for your coleslaw or what?
It's more of a cream based.
Okay.
That's why I like because I want it on my sandwich.
Oh yeah. I guess when you do like, yeah, if you go to a barbecue place, we usually have the creamy stuff. The fish fry, the Wisconsin fish fry usually gets the vinegar base.
Right. And that's what you would want because you want something lighter because you're having fried fish.
Yeah.
If you're eating fried stuff, go lighter on the sides. Don't get a potato salad with the chicken strips. You don't need that.
I'm glad that we covered that. That
Yeah.
was good.
Culinary arts with Joel McCall. I don't think that's going to be a very popular podcast.
I think just your personality and your charisma would make anything successful, Joel.
I highly doubt that, coach, but thank you for the vote of confidence. Um,
Always.
if you want my charisma and my confidence, you can hear that tomorrow night. Hopefully, if this thing holds up, because my voice is giving out because the kids are giving me cold now. But we have a busy week, so I really hope that it does hold up because we've got volleyball tomorrow night. That's on Alaska, and 5:30, 7 o'clock. We'll have both those, the JV and the varsity. We have varsity only on Thursday night when it's the girls go to Holman. So that's varsity only on Thursday night on the YouTube channel. So 7 o'clock for that. And then football Friday night on the rooftop at Tomah is where we'll be. And Nami and I will be back together. Nami is covering boys soccer tomorrow against West Salem. And that is, I heard, senior night. And so they'll have varsity at 7 o'clock. So a dual broadcast tomorrow night. Nami will not be with me at Holman either. So I don't have to put up with either him or Ray. I got enough of them at the Brat Barn on Saturday. So, Coach Olson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you and the Riverhawks coming up on Friday.
Thanks, Joel.
Tune in for all of our stuff here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I'm Joel McCall.